Welcome back to the Webby O'Neill channel. Plenty of Manchester United transfer news to get through today, including Scott McTominay. Talks between Manchester United and Bayern are taking place. Also, updates on Harry Maguire. And it looks like that left-back spot has become a priority for Erik Ten Hag to get one in before the deadline closes. Now, get your thoughts and opinions in on today's video, plus your own chats, and we will discuss throughout the video. First of all, let's start with that Scott McTominay news.
Yeah, well, the news there, it's strong. Is it a swap deal? Is it a sale? Is it a loan? But whatever it is, it looks as though talks are continuing with Manchester United and Bayern Munich. Scott McTominay, no matter what deal it is, fantastic move for him. And I think he'll be chomping at the bit if the deal comes off, no matter what it is, if it's a loan move or a sell. Scott McTominay, Erik Ten Hag hasn't got him in his plans, clearly. He's not been on the pitch starting the game. So go to Bayern Munich. If that goes through for Scott, it'll be great. If it's a sale, even better.
Yeah, do you look at it that you'd rather him be sold to Bayern Munich or a loan deal? Do you think just get the money in for him and then go and replace him with the likes of maybe Gravenberch in a swap or even Amrabat from Fiorentina?
Well, the big talking point is with no money or anything. Scott McTominay, squad player, get him sold. Get another player in. I like Scott McTominay, but that's not what it's about. Scott McTominay, great opportunity, go to Bayern Munich, but we've got a great opportunity, if the talks go well, to sell him and get good money for him. And a lot of people out there don't rate Scott McTominay, but at the end of the day, he's there, he's valuable, and if you get 40 million for him, my God, what a good deal that'd be.
Would you try and get him sold and then maybe go in for that Gravenberch who's played under Erik Ten Hag at Ajax, maybe for a loan deal? He's only still a young lad. I think he's 21 years old, Gravenberch.
Well, I don't know about the Gravenberch deal, how that's progressing, whether that could be involved with the swap deal, but I think it's too messy, in my opinion. I think when you're looking at swap deals and all that, Scott McTominay, by all accounts, is a valuable asset. So I think the talks have been going on for a while, by all accounts, and I think really United would try and push for the deal. And to be honest, I think Scott McTominay would. He's been here at Manchester United a long time now. He's limited in game time, and I think a move would suit him and a sale would suit Manchester United, and I think they could use the funds. Gravenberch, I'm not too sure on how that deal will work, whether it's just a loan deal or anything, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. But Scott McTominay, that looks to me as though that's a
fantastic move for him, I think.
But the good thing is, it seems to be progressing, and we've got a week. The mad week's here now, right? So we're going to hear lots and lots of different things in that. But this conversation has been going on. But a sale, I think anything else is too messy, to be honest.
Yeah, moving on to the left-back situation, it looks like it's become a priority, really. A lot of news coming out over the last 24 hours. Cucurella from Chelsea, Rico Henry today as well from Brentford, Marco Alonso, and there's probably one or two others out there. Reguilon, as well from Tottenham. Do you see it as a priority, though?
No.
You know, as a fan, I know it looks like Erik Ten Hag wants someone beefing up in that area, but what's your thoughts?
No, I don't see it as a priority. I think in that position itself is strong. Dalot there, then you've got Alvaro Fernandez. I think that kid there in the summer, big, strong lad, looks a decent left back. To me, looks a better prospect than that Cucurella. I just don't see anything in that fella whatsoever.
I don't.
Looked at him at Chelsea. He just run around with his hands behind his back in the penalty box. That's all he seemed to do. He just left his players running up, attacking.
It's his positioning.
His positioning.
Yeah, you can always thread a ball in between him and the centre half, and it looks like he's always flat-footed. For me, in my opinion, anyway. Let us know what you think out there. If you think he would be a good signing.
Well, that's my opinion. I just don't see him. I just think he just leaves too much space, runs around too much, leaves players stranded. To be honest with you, and I don't even think he's a good tackler. Now I look at Reguilon.
Weak in a tackle.
Yeah, weak. Now look at Reguilon or Reguilon. Depends how where you come from in your dialect. I just don't see this kid making it wherever he's been. I think he was overrated a few years ago, and he just hasn't been able to do it wherever he's gone. So I think them two options alone are just not good enough. And I think with Dalot and with Alvaro Fernandez there, I think we've got enough squad depth to cover that left back. It's a bit of a crisis. Obviously, Malacia would get fit, hopefully, in about a month's time. So I think, really, the newspapers and all the TV and all that, they're just throwing out a big list of left backs, what are available.
There was some strong reports, though, that on Saturday, Manchester United met with Chelsea Repso to discuss a deal with Cucurella, and they seem to fancy it, which is a strange one, you know, wanting to let one of your players go to beef up one of your rivals, to sort of position out what's a problem at the moment with fluid injuries.
Well, I go back to what we've just said. We don't rate him at all. So sending a player to your rival who's absolute not wanted tells you the story in itself, I say. If Chelsea want to let him go and come to United on loan, they see it as not strengthening Manchester United. In my eyes, the way I've seen Cucurella, just not good enough, hasn't got it. And how Chelsea paid that much money for him, I'll never know in my life. Absolutely. Brighton there, selling him. Wow, what a result that was. And I just don't want him here. I just don't rate him as a full-back.
Do you think there's better options out there? I've seen Rico Henry as well linked today from Brentford, but I can't see them wanting to let him go on loan or anything because he's ever consistent in their team. And I actually think he's a decent player. Don't really get the credit and the talk that he actually deserves. I'm surprised he's not been called up for the England squad as of yet, you know, just to see how he does on the international stage. But I think he's around about 26 or something, Rico Henry. Looks a solid left back, but if you're bringing him in and you're paying a decent transfer fee, you know, what's that saying then to Malacia, who's already, you know, where's the door open for him in the future?
Is it really necessary to go out there and pay money for a player? And then next thing you know, we've got that same scenario. We've got players we need to move on because they're in the squad and it just gets a bit messy. I don't think Erik ten Hag, to be perfectly honest with you, will panic on this one. I think he'll just... I know we've got lots of games. We're in the Champions League. The draw's coming up soon for that. But I don't think he'll panic. I think he'll just trust what he's got. And like I say, we've got a big, strong lad there. There's
news coming out, though, about Alvaro Fernandez. I don't know if you've seen it out there as well, linking him to a loan move to Granada in Spain for a season. So, you know, Erik ten Hag, he must like the player. He must think there's some potential there to send him out on loan, but also he obviously then doesn't think he's ready to step up into this first team. Like you said there, you know, we've got quite a few games coming up from, you know, September time through October as well. Champions League football. You know, he might think it's a little bit too early to throw him in them kind of games.
Yeah, I think what it is, I'm not against bringing in a left back till January, okay? Just as cover, just to come in there and make it solid.
Can Johnny Evans play left back?
Well, you know.
Johnny Evans left back.
Yeah, Johnny Evans, Mr. Versatile. He could do it. No, but I'm not against a lone player. I'm just like looking at the players what are being linked to Man United, and those two players what are pinpointed, Rugulion and Cucurella. I just don't rate them at all. The Brentford player, yes, that'd be fine, but I really can't see that Brentford letting him go. Not at this time. Bit too late for them to do any other business. But to me, if he's going to bring somebody in, then he's got to do it till January, because Malacia will come back in, and that kid is a fighter, and I see him there try to cement that place ahead of Shaw and try to keep Shaw out of the position. That's how I see it.
Challenge.
And for now, United have got a challenge as it happens. Dalot's got a challenge. And Alvaro's got a challenge, and that's how it should be, really. So to me, I don't see a left back coming in for a year. I think maybe January, that'll be maximum. But who is anyone's guess, because there is a list as long as my arm out there of left backs being pinpointed with United, and I think it's getting a little bit silly at the moment.
A little bit silly. Going back onto the midfield area, Amrabat, I think, has been linked for United for the last 3 months or so, maybe even longer. And it looks as though he's still training on his own away from the Fiorentina first team. Do you expect Manchester United to actually go in and make an official bid this week?
What's the name? I'm looking at this in two ways. It's gone on that long. If United really, really wanted him for the amount of money, what it's supposed to take to get him, they would have coughed it up. I've seen him. Listen, I'm not saying Amrabat is a great player. What I've seen of him, and it's limited, I think he's a decent player. Is it really actually what United need? Is the better players to go out there? Because what you have to say is, when you're looking at a player, and a top-class player, is really 21 million, 30 million top class. To me, I like the player. What I've seen of him, is the better players out there, and can United afford to wait? That's the question yous out there have got to ask yourselves, and I'm asking myself, and I'm still torn. Over 2 months this has been going on. So really, if United were desperate for him, and for the amount of money, I think this deal would have already been done. And I think it's touch and go. It's the mad week, and you just don't know here.
Yeah, there's reports as well linking Liverpool with Amrabat as well. And like you say, sometimes, with the price out there, not many other clubs looking at going in for him. What is wrong? Is he an attitude problem there? Because what do you think about that, with him actually training away from the first team squad? Do you see that as like a bit of an attitude problem?
It could be that. It could be that they're forcing the sale themselves for whatever reason, by putting him out there and just letting clubs know that it's available.
He's forcing himself out the club as well. That's the thing. We don't know the inside story.
No,
but looking from the outside in, if he's actually trying to force his way out of that squad, force his way out of that team, how do you see that then, having a player like that in the dressing room here? Would it affect the dressing room morale?
How I see that is, when I look at the situation when it's happened before. Players have forced the situation and ended up like that. I'm not saying that's happened now, because if he did sign for Man United, people then come out with, oh, he had an attitude or this, that. I'm not saying that. So that, to me, is speculation.
But, of course, a conversation. Just looking from the
I know
outside,
it's a conversation, but what I'm saying, I look at it from the point of view of when I've seen it before, and it tends to be that the player has forced the move. But when you talk about Liverpool, who have looked at him, Liverpool aren't short of money. Liverpool were just about to buy £115 million player. So they're not short of the cash. So if they really wanted him, they'd have got him a long time ago. I think there's other things going on here. I think people might be having a second look at it. I don't see any news coming out from Manchester United, direct news regarding the Amrabat. I think, to me, it's all speculation. And I think Man United might have cooled the heels on it, and Fiorentina have just stuck him out there and said, hey, someone come and get him. That's how I look at that situation.
Like you say, their recent reports, they're saying it's as little as £21 million.
Yeah.
And he's in his, going into his prime years, Amrabat. He's about 26 years old. He had a fantastic World Cup.
Yeah.
That's where I've seen the majority of his football played with my own eyes. And you just think, going forward, we've still got a lad there, Webby O'Neill.
Yes.
Out injured, unfortunately, at the moment.
Yes.
I don't want any other player to come in really and stunt his opportunities in that first team, because for me, he's going to be some sort of player. He's going to be a great player in my eyes.
Yeah, well, it's a player. Ten Hag is very disappointed at getting injured.
Yeah.
He was going to use him. The comments I've seen Ten Hag made about Webby O'Neill, he was going to be used, and he was integral to the part of the squad. So bringing Amrabat in, do we really need to bring in players? And then suddenly, what are they? What would people call them? Oh, here we are. We've got players in the squad, the deadwood, they're not being used. So I think Erik ten Hag's got a plan. It's been disrupted by the injuries and that, but I don't think Erik ten Hag's going to panic, because he can see that Malacia will come back, Webby O'Neill will come back, and I think he will also use Hannibal and introduce him into the squad. Yes, it's unfortunate, the injury. The speculation is rife, which it's Manchester United, you expect that. But I don't really want to see players brought in and then just sort of sidelined. And then we've got the issue of moving them on, just like we've got the issue of trying to move on Harry Maguire now.
The thing is, though, he's got to have a plan, a strategy, though, with this midfield, because you look at Casemiro, you look at Eriksen, what are they, both 31 years of age now?
Yeah.
There has to be a plan in the next 12 months to recruit players, to beef that midfield area up, and to be challenging for that number one spot, to stake a claim as well. So we can't just be relying on some of the youngsters coming through. There needs to be quality bought, even in this transfer window or in the next 12 months.
I think what's happening here is Erik ten Hag is not settling for what he had last year. He's not settling for mediocrity. He's pushing this squad. He's asking him to do more. And what's happening, it looks like the midfield and certain players in the defence and up front have just not got there at the moment. So Ten Hag is pushing and pushing, and these players have to step up. And I think they're being a little bit exposed by what the demands are from Eric Ten Hag and his staff. So the talking about bringing in more midfield players just might be unsettling for some of the players, but it might also be that Eric Ten Hag is demanding more and more, which is what you want. He's not going to settle for last year, and the players, I think, a short summer, short pre-season, not many of them had 90 minutes, and I think it's caught some of them out, and I think at a certain point they'll step it up and reach there. So it's a matter of staying calm in the transfer market, staying calm with the squad, staying calm with each individual player, and just hope that we get through this period where Ten Hag's demands, the players reach what he wants.
Yeah, just going to go into the chat. Yella Dean says, you all said this about Gardner and Iqbal, so stop hyping these kids up. If you look back, mate, we never hyped James Gardner up. It was the complete opposite. Iqbal as well, you must get on the wrong channel, mate. Stop being angry and actually listen to what people do actually say about these kids. And yeah, we have made statements about Kobbie Mainoo because he does look different class.
Yes.
So a lot of these youngsters that have come through at Manchester United, and it's just opinions, so just chill out. Andrew, we need excellent players. Other teams are out buying us. Well, obviously it means putting more money down to go and get these top-class players.
Yeah, but they're out buying us, but that's not Eric Ten Hag's fault, is it? Let's get it right. We all know the situation. Well, you should know the situation. The club's in turmoil. Is it being sold? Is it not? Is the funds available and all that? And all we've heard is constantly there is no money in the kitty until we sell. So anyone can out buy players to what we want. Do you know what I mean? It's just the way of the world at the moment. We're in a bad situation where Eric Ten Hag can't go out and get there. The class and the top quality players he's having to make do. But I think he knows what this squad's capable of, and they can step it up. And that's why I believe he's not going to accept it. Now, going back to Iqbal and Gardner, we always said that Eric Ten Hag, Garner, that he needs to try these players. We never said that these players are going to make it or they're good or anything. And all young players in the team, in the under-21s, at some point need a chance. And Kobbie Mainoo, we've seen Kobbie Mainoo with our own eyes, and he is a class player.
Yeah, class. I think he's got a bright future here at Manchester United. Any of the youngsters out there that any of you have seen, let us know who you think can make it and make us a first-team claim in this this squad. Harry Maguire.
Now, Harry Maguire, the story never ends, but United have come out with a statement there. There is a disagreement over the payoff, and he's not going anywhere. He's currently staying West Ham. I don't even think they've come back with a bid. I think Manchester United have told West Ham that Harry Maguire is staying at Manchester United due to the disagreement over the payoff. Now, Harry Maguire is just going to be a bench player. Money, that's what it's about, nothing else. But what it does say is Harry Maguire knows he's got no chance of performing in this team. I don't understand.
Yeah, well, I think you do understand, and I'm just going to give a point to you there. Well, if Harry Maguire is wanting money, he's then putting money over his professional football career.
Yeah,
because England, all that sort of stuff next summer. You know, sure he'll want to join up with that squad, be a part of the England team. So he's putting money over his actual playing career. Well,
he says he wants to be in the England team. What he says, I take with a pinch of salt. I think Harry Maguire wants the money. It's been clear for a long time. Will he play for England if he stays at United? Everyone knows he won't. He uses that. He's good enough, that's what he says. Well, you're not going to be good enough. You've not been good enough for this Manchester United side. Opportunity's there, take it. But, like a lot of players now, it all comes down to money. And that's Manchester United's own problems in the way they've dealt with Harry Maguire, with his contracts and everything. And you're going to see it with a lot of other players. It's just the way of the world now with these footballers. Money comes first at a certain point. At his age, really, he should be going, should be playing football, and he should be enjoying his football and look for the rest of his career playing for England. But he seems to have other ideas.
Okay, let us know what you think about Harry Maguire. We'll discuss again throughout the video. Jam United goes back to Scott McTominay. We should be keeping Scott. More energy than most of our midfield. Eriksen is done, and Casemiro is getting to that stage in his career. Curler's 86. what are the odds of Maguire? What are the odds Maguire leaves on transfer deadline day? I would take that bet, and I can kind of side with him with that, because you just got that feeling like there's still something there, you know, to come before the deadline.
It's twist after twist with Harry Maguire. You just never know.
Do you think it would be West Ham? I'm getting that feeling like West Ham aren't really like too mithered whether that goes through or not, and you know,
that's the reports. That's the way it's coming out. The conversation about West Ham, are they really bidding for him? Are they asking him? It just seems to me as though it's United what's told West Ham he's staying at Manchester United because of a disagreement over the payoff. But with Harry Maguire, you just don't know what's going to happen. And the last day, it could go at the last day. Can I just touch on Scott McTominay there? Yes, he could be in the squad. He is a good squad player. But if Bayern Munich are coming for Scott McTominay will look at that as a fantastic opportunity and will do everything to get that move. And I, for one, don't blame him because he's not getting the opportunities because Erik ten Hag looks as though he doesn't fit into the style of football going forward. So for Scott McTominay, Bayern Munich, for any player, you've just seen... what's name it go there?
Harry Kane.
Harry Kane go there. So at the end of the day, go to Bayern Munich, massive club, massive history, and a fantastic move. So good luck to him if he gets it.
We will need to replace him, though, Scott McTominay. We will need legs in that midfield, because you look at Christian Eriksen and Casemiro, who are first choice midfield pairing, really. You know, have they got the legs about him to cover the pitch? You know, against these teams like even Arsenal, who are coming up, who have got players in midfield who can cover the ground.
You would need a workhorse.
Yeah.
You need a proper workhorse. And I've seen people talk about Fred. Oh, Fred would have been ideal in this situation. He would have done all the running and all that. And in parts, I do agree that Fred would have done a lot of running. But in parts, Fred also disrupted the team by not doing certain things, passing and all that. Yes, that's right. But his running, you can't knock Fred's running. And that's what you need. And that's what Erik ten Hag is demanding off the players what are there. They're just not doing it to the full capabilities at the moment.
Yeah, Fred's had his chance, and some out there may say Scott McTominay, he's had long enough as well to prove that he's a first teamer in this United squad. Robert in the chat, I'd rather keep McTominay. He offers more than Mount, and we need a player like him.
Listen, it's a flick of a coin. If he stays, that's fine. If he goes, that's fine. That's the way it is with him. I just see that the opportunity comes, Scott will go, I'll miss him. I think he's a decent squad player. I've liked his play. But at the end of the day, it's time to move on. Fresh legs in there, and we need it.
Dean Henderson as well. It was confirmed, was it yesterday, by Fabrizio Romano, that he's off to Crystal Palace. And it looks like we're getting that kid as well from Fenerbahce. Is it Bayern or something?
Yeah, I can't pronounce his name, to be honest.
I'd have to read it again. Yeah,
it looks like £15 million with £5 million ads on. All that is, it's just a merry-go-round of goalkeepers, really. Yeah. Dean Henderson, for a long time now, has been looking for a move. He's got to move to Crystal Palace. Forest don't look as though they want him, but the opportunity's come for Crystal Palace. Out he goes, and I've always described him as an angry man, and I think that's what he is. Off he goes, plays football there. Good move for him, to be honest with you. He'll get plenty of time there, and he is a good goalkeeper, just not up to what United need as a first-choice goalkeeper.
Yeah, I think we've gone through a lot of the transfer news today, haven't we? I think we've gone through all the left-back spots.
Yeah.
McTominay, Harry Maguire, Dean Henderson. If there's any more out there that you've seen while we've been doing the live, just get it in the chat and we'll discuss it. But I want to take a look at the Arsenal game on Sunday.
Yeah.
The performances that we've put in the first 3 games, it needs to improve on Sunday. I know Arsenal, they got the draw at the weekend. What a great result for them. But we're going to have to step it up. Yeah,
we're going to have to step it up. But there's always a but. Arsenal themselves aren't in great form. What's his name? Arteta. He's messing about with players, playing them out of position, and they're not running as they were last year. So they've got their own problems. So it's a good time to go there. United know they need a kick up the backside. The performance on Saturday as a team was poor. Individually, they fought back, and you've got to give Manchester United credit for that, the way they just went at it and eventually overcome Forest. It was Forest, and that's who it was, who we played. If we play like that against Arsenal, but the point is, we're playing them at an opportune time. There is disharmony within the fan base, massive disharmony at what Arteta is doing to it. If you thought Ten Hag was under pressure here from the fans, at Arsenal, they are going ballistic at the way he is picking players and playing them out of position. And I think he won't be able to change that. He will have to stick with it until after the international. I think they're under big pressure.
No, I think Arteta is look, from what I've seen, and it was just on highlights, I didn't watch the full Arsenal game. You know, it looks like he was trying something different to see if he could put players in different positions. Maybe just like trying to cover his back before the transfer window ends to see if some players can play in certain positions through injuries or suspensions. So you might see him even dip into the transfer market. But I expect him to go back to basics, on Sunday with the solid back four that we've probably seen him play last season and a more consistent lineup. The one for me, obviously, is Kai Havertz. That's the big question mark. And I think it's a player that, you know, I just don't ever see him setting the world alight.
He's sticking with Kai Havertz.
That's the one for me. That's the big question mark of, is he going to persist and keep playing him in the midfield?
Yeah, but people out there are talking about is persisting. Well, he is persisting. The last couple of games of the season, he is stuck with persisting with playing the right back. Partey there. He's not a right back. Right. And there's another player, I forget his name. So he is persisting with it. Okay? And to change it now for the Man United game would be a big problem for them. So I think United are there to go at them. They've got a chance there. Højlund is back. That is a massive plus. I say back.
I was going to say, have you got some news that we all don't know? Is he definitely back?
To me, Højlund is in the squad. I expect him to play. That is a massive boost for Man United. It'll get United setting, and United will play tight and control that. I think United will control that midfield, to be honest with you. I think we'll all be shocked. I think what it is, when you look at the Forest game, they will move on from that. They'll have learnt from that. The players, Eric Ten Hag, and I think looking at Arsenal, they'll treat it as a different game. It's an away game, and we can't go gung-go. And I think United will be solid in that midfield. Let's hope so anyway. That's how I see it.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, I thought the exact same what you've just said there. After we played Wolves, then after we played Spurs, going into that Forest game, and you're hoping again, you know, let's see a turnaround in performance levels. And, you know, you've got to look at, I said at the start of the season, the two things that I'm looking at for Manchester United this season is their away form against the top 6 and top 9, and also Bruno Fernandes as a captain, as a leader in this football team. And, you know, they failed the first task away at Tottenham, you know, with the result there. And it's going to be a big ask going away to Arsenal. If we can get a result there, and I mean a result in terms of 3 points, that could have a massive impact on our season going forward, with a confidence boost to then go into other top 6 teams for the rest of the season. And I hope we do get the 3 points.
Yeah.
But it's a big ask when you're looking on the last 12 months.
Yeah, it is.
That needs to change.
Yeah, it is a big ask to go there and expect 3 points. I mean, not often do Arsenal get beat at home, but at the end of the day, Manchester United playing the top 6, the results have been very, very poor. That has to change. And at the end of the season, the idea for every team is winning the Premier League. But you can't win the Premier League without winning them games away from home against the top 6. And if it's still the same, then you would expect big changes in the summer. And hopefully in the summer we'll have changed the owners and everything, and it might give Eric Ten Hag an opportunity. But that is the one thing what has to change. That away form, I don't think it's all down to the players. I mean, you're allowed
tactically as well.
Yeah, I actually think at times there Eric Ten Hag has been too open. Just because he's the manager, and I've given him 3 years, he can still get criticism. It is allowed to give the manager a bit of criticism, and I think sometimes when you go back and look at last year, he played certain games too open. The Liverpool game, the City game, there's many a game you can pinpoint and say, whoa, that was the wrong approach. So hopefully he will have learned from that, but time will only tell on that. Maybe he's just forcing the players to do too much. When you look at the first year, I think he tried too much, too quick.
Do you think then he's maybe overloading some of the players in certain positions with tactics and instructions about positional play as well? Because when you've seen these games, the first 3 games that we've played, certain positions players are taking up. It's something we've not seen at Manchester United for a very, very long time. You know, you look at Casemiro against Nottingham Forest, people out there saying he's a holding midfielder. The amount of times I've seen him more up the pitch ahead of Martial which I know some might say it's not hard to do that, but he was further than Martial at times.
I think when you look at it tactically against Nottingham Forest, when you're 2 goals down after 4 minutes, I think the tactics go out the window, and each player steps it up and just tries to get you back on par with the team what scored 2 goals. So I think it was individuals, not tactically, what got us back into that game. I think Casemiro was going more forward because of the desperation. We needed the goals. We needed to come back. It was important we did not get beat against Nottingham Forest. And at the end of the day, Nottingham Forest, actually, as the game went further on, helped Man United, helped the individuals because they were attacking more and they took it upon themselves. Forest went further and further back. So I think that helped. But tactically, I don't think it was anything to do with tactics. I think with Casemiro and many other players on there, when you've seen them going forward out of position. I mean, you talk about our position, I seen Dalot in the centre forwards position at some point.
Yeah, you do see the fullbacks, though, like, I think they call it out there, inverted fullbacks, the new hipster name, and you do see him in the centre of that attacking number 10 role sometimes, don't you? So like I'm saying to you before, is Ten Hag sort of overloading too many tactics all at once onto these players? Should we play a little bit more simple, back to basics kind of thing, or is this just a strategy what the players are going to have to learn very, very quickly?
I think the 3 games, the learning is going to be hard to get what Erik Ten Hag wants, because he wants to win every game. So I think it's just a matter of waiting and see, settling down, come back from the international game, hopefully get a result at Arsenal, and then just look and regroup again. I think the international break will give Ten Hag and the coaching staff time to regroup, because it's not been all guns blazing, it's not been roses. There has been deficiencies from all angles, from players, from the staff, from the manager. Things are going to have to be looked at again.
I feel a player who's going to be under a lot of scrutiny going into the Arsenal game is Anthony on that right-hand side. I mean, after every performance we've put in up to now in the first 3 games, he's always been targeted. Not all of it unfairly as well. There's some criticism out there that is fair in certain performances that he has put in. But do you think Erik Ten Hag will be stubborn and keep him there on the right-hand side, or will he look to make a change?
No, I think he'll stick. It's Arsenal. He knows what to do. He does come back. He helps out defence. He does hold the ball. Yes, there's criticism about him not going past players all the time. And in time against Forest there, he was in patches. There was times there he was just looping the ball in without even looking, not going to a man, there was nobody there. And then at other times he was performing and putting the right ball in. He hit the post. He was unfortunate at times. So at times there he improved, but he still has to do lots more to improve. Yes, he's going to get stick. He's a Man United player. It's par for the course.
To be honest with you, I know Rashford was involved for Eriksen's goal, but I don't think Rashford had a particularly good game against Nottingham Forest. Lost the ball way too easy at times for me, and couldn't hold the ball up or ran the ball out of play. And I thought, really, when you're looking at the performances from Rashford and Anthony, I thought Anthony probably gave a better performance in the amount of time he was on the pitch over Rashford.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Rashford there didn't keep the ball, lost the ball once or twice. He got behind, created things. Obviously, we got the goal. That's what you want to see more of Rashford. But you also have to take into account, especially that second half, there wasn't really that much room for him to go behind. But in the first half, I thought he lost the ball, couldn't control it, and wasn't really on the game. That didn't help Man United, to be honest with you. And he wasn't really out wide. I thought there wasn't an out ball in that first half as much as I would prefer.
Yeah, I just thought he needed to get his head up a little bit more, and like you say, holding the ball up, he could have just done a bit more. And you just hope going into this game against Arsenal, the big players that are in our dressing room, like Rashford, Casemiro, Martinez, if Varane makes it, they need to step up against Arsenal.
I think what you'll see there, listen, players like Rashford there, they will get the freedom to run. They will get the space. Arsenal will attack. They've got the freedom. That's how they play. They will want to put a marker down before the international break. Beat Man United. They want to beat Man United. They are desperate to beat Man United, and they won't sit back. So the opportunities will come out wide for Rashford and Anthony, and I can actually see a great game. Absolutely great game. I cannot see United getting beat, because I don't think Arsenal are actually flying on all cylinders.
Would you stick with Martial though up front, start Martial, or would you
No, you'd have to listen on that performance, Martial. I can't see him starting. Yes, we needed a number 9. I think at the end of the day, what you're going to have to do is bring Sancho in there.
Look, I've
just
got
to sit there.
I've got to be devil's advocate here as well. It's Martial's first start in a very long time
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
So you know,
I agree. I don't think if he can't start Højlund, then you'd have to just put Sancho on there and just get into the game.
Yeah.
Just Man United play themselves into the game. Don't go out gung-ho, which I don't think they're going to do. So I think he would be a good feeder of the ball to try and hold it up at his feet, turn and just lay it off, pass it on and get it out to the wingers. That's how I see it. Giving the long ball, I think is a...
The thing is, if Sancho can drop into midfield as well and be that extra man in the midfield for Manchester United with legs, and you can get runners going behind him, you know, towards the Arsenal goal, like Rashford, like Antony, that might be a tactic that actually might work, especially out wide as well.
Yes.
And if you've got Bruno Fernandes running on as well.
That might work, and it might give the opportunities for the wingers to run behind. But we'll have to wait and see. I want Højlund to start.
Yeah, I want Højlund to start as well. Can't wait to see the kid. I'd just like to thank everyone for joining us today, getting involved in the chat, involved in the discussion as well. Smash a like if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe as well if you've not already done so. And we will be back tomorrow on Tuesday with another video. Hope you all had a great weekend and enjoy the rest of your Monday. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.